It's time for another Nebraska Prep Zone report, sponsored today by MD West One, Nebraska's most advanced sports medicine, orthopedics, neurosurgery, and spine care, covering Greater Omaha for over 70 years. I'm your host, Jake Anderson, and joining me today is Stu Pospisil. How are you doing today, Stu?
I'm good, thank you.
We are going to break down today the news out of yesterday, the changes to the Nebraska state basketball tournaments, boys and girls, and I figure we'll also talk a little bit about the changes to the swimming meet. But let's start with the unanimous decision by the NSAA. It'll be 5 days, Tuesday through Saturday, and held mostly at Pinnacle Bank Arena. No Devaney Center this year.
Right, the Devaney Center piece really threw a wrench into the machine. And, you know, going back in time, we've had 4-day state meets. 5 days, when it was thrown out by John Dolliver yesterday as his leading proposal, you should have seen my jaw underneath my mask. I never thought the NSAA would think of something like that. I think it's a great option. You know, to be able to maximize the largest arena you have possible. You know, it could be conceivable, honestly, that these, with a fourth and fifth day, you could have more attendance than ever, even with restrictions based on capacity.
Yeah. And in case people haven't seen it, the schedule will be Tuesday. It'll be the same for boys and girls. Tuesday
Right. You want me to run through it?
Yeah, I have it right here in front of me. 2 Class B games and 4 Class A at Pinnacle Bank Arena on Tuesday. Wednesday will be 2 Class B and 4 Class C1 at Pinnacle Bank Arena, with Class C2 through D2 at 3 Lincoln High Schools. And then the semifinals will be Thursday for classes C2, D1, and D2 at Pinnacle Bank Arena, and Friday for classes A, B, and C1. And then all the finals Saturday at Pinnacle Bank Arena, all televised by NET. And that's the nice part about basketball, all at Pinnacle Bank Arena, able to televise all of them, unlike football this past year.
Exactly. And honestly, I see this portending that we could do this again in future years on a 4-day schedule, where you could have those games at Pinnacle Bank Arena played on Wednesday and Thursday, and those C2 to D2 games played at Devaney. And then they'd stay there for the semis, and then on Friday, and then finals on Saturday. The volleyball community really embraced the 4-day state tourney that was forced by the pandemic. I don't see that going back to a 3-day. I don't see basketball going back to a 3-day now either, unless something radically would happen. You know, if we had massive snowstorms, but that could happen with the 3-day tourney anyway. So I think it was a bold step by the NCAA. I think it was a necessary one, and I'm eager to see it play out. You're going to be able to watch a lot of games in the comfort of Pinnacle Bank Arena, and not on a bleacher at Lincoln East or Southeast or North Star.
Yeah, and that's a very good point with volleyball. I really enjoyed, just from a bystander watching from afar, really from home and tracking it on Twitter. I enjoyed it held over 4 days and give each team the stage at Devaney, at Pinnacle Bank. And, yes, for volleyball, they had 2 matches going at once, but it seemed better than 4 matches going at once on that first day. You're trying to cram it all in there. So I think this will be a really good fit. I think you'll give each team their own stage, and it'll be nice. You'll have a lot of those lower class teams able to play at Pinnacle Bank, whereas usually they wouldn't until the finals.
Well, and actually, I think for the C2 to D2, being able to play their semifinals at Pinnacle Bank, which even has a larger backdrop than Devaney, I think will be an advantage. And they get their rest day for this year on Friday. So they're going to have 2 days to prepare to be on the big stage and not have to come immediately back. You know, where the ones that will have to have a faster turnaround will be A, B, and C1. But, they're kind of used to it, and they're going to get their break between the first round and the semis. So, I think it's as fair can be. And, again, it was the only option that they really had.
Yeah. That's an interesting point with the lower classes being able to play semifinals at Pinnacle Bank. Do you think that'll lead to higher scoring state finals with them being used to the shooting backdrop?
I think so. I also gain, of course, they're playing at Devaney, so it's the same size court. But, that's when you go from high school gyms and at least one of the sites is 84 foot and not 90. It's a shorter court. These, especially on the girls' side, I don't think they get as many opportunities to play 94 feet compared to the boys, and because the boys have more showcase events. I think it's going to lend to better basketball, or at least that's my hope.
Yeah. And we should note, as you had in your story yesterday, Devaney Center is not available with Husker volleyball being played or having a spring season. And interesting note to me, it's the first time since 1976 that it won't use Devaney Center.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the state tourney had been held in the NU Coliseum from when it was built in 1926 until 1975. And then the Devaney Center wasn't even quite finished when they went in and played in 1976. I don't think the Huskers had played a game yet. The state tourney was the first activity in what was then just the Sports Center, and Bob Devaney's name got attached to it later. But, Devaney's a volleyball situated or volleyball oriented complex now, and it's where the Huskers practice and play, and they kind of rule the roost, and they're also concerned about the bubble. I was reading Abby Barmore's story today on Nebraska's Olympic spring sports, and there's always a little concern with just the team sports that practice out of Devaney, because you're going to run into people in the halls and things like that. So, they made the decision not to offer it. I'm sure it'll be back on the table next year, assuming we're out of this pandemic. And, I think we can have a great 4-day tourney.
Yeah. What's the overall reaction from some of the coaches? Have you talked to any Metro?
I have not really yet. Twitter really hasn't been squawking. The one or two Western schools that may get in might feel that it's a little bit more of a obligation on them, maybe more financially problemsome. Again, I think you sometimes have to pay for the privilege of winning. And again, if you make it to the state finals and you're playing for a title, I think that eases any monetary concern. And also we're also getting the best teams to state. We're not having the geographical qualifications anymore. It's based on who's winning districts or district finals. We only have one wild card team anymore in the state volleyball or basketball, and that's in Class A. So, if it's not like you're going to be 9-12 and expecting to get beat first round of state. If you get there, you're going to have a legitimate shot of advancing.
And the other locations discussed were Grand Island and Omaha. Lincoln turned out to be the cheapest option.
I would say that the NSAA wanted to try and maintain its contract with Lincoln as much as possible. Grand Island and Hastings College would have been in that mix. I don't know what they had set up for schedules. The Heartland Event Center, right now the state's at 75%. We'll see what they allow for Tino Martinez's Heartland Hoops Classic about a month from now, 3 weeks from now at that event center, where you have Bellevue West playing Sunrise Christian and Millard North playing Oak Hill. So those are two big draws, for anybody even remotely interested in basketball. So I don't know what their plan was. Omaha had too many conflicts, some of which were not showing up on schedules. Creighton said they could not offer CHI health, or CHI said they couldn't offer its facilities for the boys basketball week. You wonder if they're not saving that in case the Big East tourney has to go someplace other than New York City.
Yeah, a lot kind of up in the air, a lot to be determined. Not up in the air is swimming. NSAA approved having the state meet at the Devaney Center, so it's available for swimming February 25th through 27th. No spectators, and the Saturday finals will be split up into boys and girls sessions.
Best possible option again. Our colleague Steve Bidek wrote a very good column on the eve of the NSAA vote. As it turns out, the NSAA was thinking along his lines. Jeff Strauss had a good plan that, if you have to sacrifice something, it should be the fans, because you want to give the kids the experience. So I know that the NET broadcast will probably start at 9:00 and perhaps 2:30 on that Saturday. Left up to be determined is how they might show the Friday prelims. And I'm guessing, I can't say for sure, but I'm guessing there'll be something in the works that will allow people to watch online. And I think that's a good thing. I think it's necessary in a natatorium complex like that, where you have to put the kids spread out too. And I don't think you got track practice going on, you got volleyball going on, practice inside there. They don't really want to mix the high school kids with the college kids, just in case.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to keep an eye on that. We appreciate Stu keeping us in the loop on all things Nebraska high school sports. Until next time, thanks for joining us.
As the official team doctors for high school and college teams across Greater Omaha, MD West One Sports Med Doctors can get you back into the game stronger than ever. Meet the Sports Med team at mdwest1.com or call 402-390-4111.